When I first started high school back in 2019, I was always a pretty shy and anxious kid. I'd never put my hand up in class. I'd never go to the effort to make new friends because I was scared if I'd do something wrong or I'd say something weird. I remember this was a few years ago now. I really liked this girl. I'd text her all the time, would text every night, but I'd never have the courage or confidence to actually go up to her in school because I wanted everything to be perfect. If I went up to this girl, if it didn't go exactly the way I played it out to be in my mind, then I just wouldn't do it. If I wasn't sure it would go completely my way, I wouldn't do it because I was scared if I would do something weird, then people wouldn't like me or this girl wouldn't find me attractive, all of that. So when I would actually talk to any women in school or outside, I'd always be so anxious. I'd always stutter. I'd always be lost for words. I wouldn't know what to say. But I remember this one day when I was about 15, I went to this climbing gym because I'm a big climber. And when I go into this gym, I see the most attractive girl I've ever seen in my life. And her climbing was even better, voila. Her climbing was amazing. And so I go up to approach this girl because I want to compliment her on how great her climbing was. And unlike all the other times I'd approached girls, I was awkward, I'd stutter, I didn't know what to say. This time was different. This time I actually managed to, I'd say, impress her. And I'll tell you why I managed to do that in a few moments. I went up to this girl after she came back down from the wall, and I just said, "You have the best technique I have ever seen. Your footwork is brilliant." And she lit up, bro. I still remember it to this day. She pulled the biggest smile ever. And this time was different because of three reasons. I was true to myself, I had pure intentions, and I also just did not give a fuck when going up to her. The reason why this girl pulled a giant smile when I came up and complimented her, unlike all the other times I've spoken to girls, was because I had pure intentions. My only intention was to compliment her, was to make her smile. I didn't have any of these other intentions to try and, get with her. All I wanted to do was compliment her, and it worked. Because if I were to go into this interaction and I wanted to get a relationship out of this girl, let's say, people can see through that. She could have seen through that I wasn't actually just complimenting her on her climbing. I was just doing it to get with her. That wasn't the case. I was just doing it because I thought her climbing was brilliant. The second thing was I just didn't give a fuck. I didn't care if I didn't get a relationship out of this girl because all I wanted to do was compliment her and make her smile, which happened. And third of all, I was true to myself. I loved sports, so I went to the gym. I saw another girl that loved sports, so I went up and talked to her. That to me, it's sort of like the not giving a fuck thing, but a bit different, you know what I mean? So if you want to be truly charismatic, if you want your communication to be superb, if you want people to actually smile when you give them compliments, then you need those three things. I'll say them again. Pure intentions, not giving a fuck, and being true to yourself. But you might be asking yourself, Theo, I have pure intentions, I live true to myself, but I'm not that confident. I give a fuck if this girl, for example, doesn't like me when I go up to her. Well, listen, I want to place you on an exercise that might help with that. I want you to go to a place where you feel comfortable. For me, it was the climbing gym, yeah? For you, it might just be a regular gym, or it might be, I don't know, a certain place in school, anywhere. And I want you to ask a girl you find very attractive a simple question, like, I don't know, what's the time? And you do that until you feel completely comfortable with it, until you feel very confident with it. Then, after you've done that, you go up to, I don't know, another attractive girl you might find. Ask her that same question, like, what's the time? or ask her for directions. And then just simply ask, how was your day? Yeah? You don't have to get a relationship out of it. You just need the intention of wanting to know how their day was. That's all you need. And then when you're confident asking those two questions, all you're gonna do is simply give her a compliment. And I guarantee you, if you have pure intentions, you're true to yourself and you just don't give a fuck in the process, she will light up, bro. I promise you that. You do this to anyone, they will have the biggest smile on their face. Given you're actually honest about yourself, given you actually want them to smile. You know, being yourself works, man. Why try to be someone else just to try and fit in, just to try and get people to like you, when you're already yourself? You are the best at being yourself. You're not the best at being anyone else. You're the best at being yourself. So why try and be anyone else? I guarantee you, the second you start working on that, your life will transform. You might lose friends, yeah? You might lose friends for being yourself because, I don't know, you haven't been yourself in a long time. People thought you were a different person. That's normal. But you'll also bring so many people that love you for who you are, right? And your life quality will increase dramatically because of that. So remember those 3 things, bro. I'll say them once again. Not giving a fuck in the process, having pure, true intentions, actually wanting to make them smile, to make them feel good, and being true to yourself. That is all you need. If you stick with those 3 things, you've done it, right? I'll see you in the next one.